I bid you welcome.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Graveyard Read Book Reviews. I'm Darla. I'm a reviewer for independent authors and their books. Today, I'm not going to do a review, but a top 10 list of my favorite Universal Studio monsters. As you could tell, I'm a huge fan. Love the movies. I loved them since I was a kid. And just, want to give you my top 10 list. If you have a list or your favorites, please mark them down in your comments. I love to review them with you, and maybe we can compare notes. Okay, here's number 10. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, I know this is a favorite from a lot of people. However, it just didn't do anything for me. For me, it was just a guy in a suit. I couldn't get into it. However, I did appreciate the cinematography. The underwater scenes were, beautiful to look at. The scene where Julie Adams, I think that's her name, Julie Adams, was swimming, and you see the creature slowly creeping up to grab her. Those are beautiful scenes. So, I give kudos for that, but not one of my favorites. Number 9, Abbott and Costello, Meet Frankenstein, 1948. Now, this is not a horror film, obviously. It's Abbott and Costello. It's more of a comedy. However, there's a lot of actors who were the movie monsters who appeared in the movie. Bela Lugosi played Dracula. Boris Karloff was not the Frankenstein monster, but Glenn Strange was. And also Lon Chaney Jr. Portrayed the Wolfman. So you did have those monsters. It was quite funny, though. I remember when I was little, I used to watch a lot of Abbott and Costello serials. My dad would put those on, and they were just so funny to me. So seeing that and my monsters, it worked. Okay, number 8, The Mummy, 1932, I believe? 32. Let's see, where are you? Here we go. I'm going to bring all these guys out today, just so you know. I don't have all of them, but Boris Karloff played the Mummy. It was a really good movie. However, the reason why it's kind of low is because, first, it was a very short movie. It was only like an hour and 15 minutes long. And the makeup was just beautiful makeup by Jack Pierce. However, you only see him in the makeup for like 3 minutes of the movie in the beginning. And that's a shame because it was just beautifully done. Boris Karloff is still in the movie by another character. But, it was good. It wasn't the best movie. It wasn't the best monster movie. But it was good. I enjoyed it. Okay, where are we? Number 7, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1923 with Lon Chaney. Now, with silent films, it can go either way with me. Either I'm really appreciating it or it's going to make me fall asleep. Silent films were very long. I think this one was close to 2 hours. And watching a silent film for 2 hours you can nod off really quickly. Lon Chaney was a brilliant artist. He did his own makeup. He would come to the studio with his little box of makeup and work for hours creating the look for the character. So because it's Quasimodo and, it's a disfigured man, but he was hidden away, obviously, at the bell tower. But there's a beautiful scene when he's listening to the bells of the cathedral. And it was so beautiful for him that, he's looking up and he's just so in love with these bells. It just makes him so happy because it's sad because he was so depressed. It was so sad. Those are the only moments that would make him happy was listening to these bells. And just beautiful scene. Lon Chaney, when he would do the makeup, and anyone in silent film, actually, even, aside from that, because there was no dialogue, they really had to be dramatic with their facial expressions and their movements. So when, Lon Chaney was portraying Quasimodo, that's exactly, an example of how he had to be with that character. So excellent movie. Okay, counting down. Number 6, Phantom of the Opera, 1925, with Lon Chaney. Yet again, his makeup was just incredible with this. I'm sure back in the day, the scene where Christine lifts his mask off and you see his face and he has that look on his face. I'm sure that scared a lot of moviegoers for the first time to see something that, exciting and frightening. So what Lon Chaney did with his makeup, it wasn't just the acting. He wanted to make it look authentic. He wanted to, scare people. He really wanted this to look like, an actual disfigured face. So he would put himself through quite a lot of pain to create that look. So if you were to see, how his nose is portrayed, it's like sticking up. He pulled a piece of wire around his head to make his nose like flip up that way. I can't imagine how painful that must have been. And he had to be like that for hours during the shooting, I'm assuming. But talk about loyalty and devotion to a character. Okay, where are we? Number 5, Invisible Man, 1933. This was directed by James Whale, the same director as Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. It starred Claude Rains as the Invisible Man. Now, Claude Rains had a very distinctive voice. It was very mysterious, sinister, and that really worked with the character because you couldn't see him, obviously. So his voice did all the acting for him. Great movie. I really enjoyed it. It was very funny, too. There's one scene that the policemen come to the room that he's staying in, and they want to arrest him. And, the Invisible Man's like, oh, no, I'll show you who I really am. And he's unraveling the bandages, and they're like in this total shock. And he has like this fake nose, and he throws the nose at them, and he throws the bandages at them. It's so funny. Okay, number 4, Wolfman, 1941. Let's see, where are you? There you are. There he is, Wolfman. Okay, this starred Lon Chaney Jr., and it was a very good movie. When he portrayed Larry Talbot, after he gets bit and the gypsy woman says, oh no, you have the mark of the werewolf, and you have to, hide yourself, lock yourself up in your room or you're going to kill people. And after his transformation, he goes out, he has this very sad, pathetic type of acting, which just made you feel sad for him. You felt sorry for him. He doesn't want to change. He didn't want to go and kill people. Excellent performance by Lon Chaney Jr. One of the other scenes I enjoyed was when he's transformed and he's out in the field, and this field is covered with mist, and it was beautifully done, cinematography, just beautiful. And the way he would walk, he would have his 2 feet going back and forth, but he would crunch down as if like he really was an animal. And it was just a great performance. It was really a great movie. We're getting close. Number 3, Bride of Frankenstein, 1935, that was. So a few years after the first Frankenstein. Let's bring her down. There she is, Bride. Amazing. This was such a great movie. This is the sequel to Frankenstein, and the Frankenstein monster, Boris Karloff, he's hiding in a cave after the inferno from the townspeople burnt the castle down, and he's hiding, and he wants revenge. He wants to get rid of Victor Frankenstein, or Henry Frankenstein, whatever his name was. I think they portrayed Henry in the film. Not sure why, probably copyright or something. Anyway, Henry Frankenstein is home. He's married. He's trying to have a normal, stable life. And then one night there's a knock on the door, and there's this creepy doctor who goes to Frankenstein and said, you know what? Your idea was perfect. Let's do it again. But let's make a woman this time. And, Frankenstein's, no, it was a disaster last time. I'm not going to do that again. I want to just have a family and lay low. And it ends up that he changes his mind and they go for it. They try to make a woman. During the ending scene, when they create her and she appears, Elsa Lanchester was just beautiful in this whole film. I wish she had more screen time. Again, some of these characters, they only had minutes in their costume, in their makeup. And something like the way she was made up, and she was made up by Jack Pierce as well. The hair, the bolts coming out of their hair, it's just beautiful, beautiful makeup and design for her. So yeah, she's on the film for a little bit. And so Boris Karloff comes in the picture, and he finds her and he sees her, and he's so in love, and he puts his hands out and said, please, please, I love you, this big smile on his face. And she takes one look at him, and she's not happy. She does not like this at all. Get this guy away from me. That was her reaction. So other than that, it's such a good movie. This was one of my very favorites. Okay, number 2. I think we know what we're going to say. Frankenstein, 1931, Boris Karloff. Again, directed by James Whale. Just the best of the best. The creation of the makeup was by Jack Pierce. And him and Karloff worked together quite often. And actually, I heard that they became close friends. But Boris Karloff, he had to be in that chair for hours to, sit down for the makeup session. And, but what a creation. I mean, that all came from Jack Pierce's mind. The flat head, the bolts coming out of his neck, the stitches. It was just, a great, great image. And, that's what you have today. You see the different figures or Halloween masks. That's the image you got. It was just brilliant. And number 1, I think you know what I'm going to say. Dracula. Bela Lugosi. Dracula is 1931. Now, this was directed by Todd Browning, who was the director of the movie Freaks, which is another classic horror film. Very creepy. That was very creepy. But with Dracula, Bela Lugosi played Dracula on stage. And he was just used to being that character. So when Universal wanted to produce Dracula, they right away thought of Boris Karloff. And Bela Lugosi fought for that role. He was, look, I did this on stage. I am Dracula. He kind of had that ego. So finally they agreed, and Bela Lugosi just pulled it off. It's amazing. The book by Bram Stoker, the image of Dracula is a lot different than Bela Lugosi's look. If you ever saw 1993 Bram Stoker Dracula with Gary Oldman, that image, the old man with the weird hair and everything, that image is closer to the book than Bela Lugosi's character. Obviously, Universal, they want someone a little more handsome, charming, and they sure got it. Bela Lugosi was just, top of the notch, just excellent. One good scene that I really enjoyed was the end scene with him and Van Helsing. Bela Lugosi's movements made the acting better. He would try to hypnotize Van Helsing, and it wouldn't work, and he's ready to, get his crucifix to show him. And it's just incredible, incredible scene. Another side note of Dracula, and also a very good actor, but very underrated, the man who played Renfield, Dwight Frye, he scared me more than Dracula. He was the creepiest. There's a scene where he's the sailor, he's at inside the ship, and they have the coffin underneath, and they open up the doors, and there he is, just glaring at them with this big evil smile on his face, and just creeped me out. So there you have it. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, if you have a top 10 yourself, or you have any other suggestions, please put them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I will be doing a few book reviews soon. I got to, figure out what books I want to review first, but I will come back with a new video. Again, please support your indie authors. They need that support. They want to get their foot in the door, and they want to see their books on the shelves of Barnes & Noble. Seriously, support them. Thanks a lot, guys.